announced before the end of last year that our next briefing would be at the start of this year. And so we are here to have our routine Monday afternoon press conferences. One of the issues that I'm certain people desire to be discussed is the blocking of traffic on I-55 that took place from a number of young people. First and foremost, we understand and appreciate the severity and seriousness of this issue. People use our highway system to get to and from the places that they need to go to. In some instances, there are emergency circumstances in which they have to travel these highways. What we have learned in this circumstance is what appears to have taken place is the action of the immature actions of a few young people who have mimicked things that have been taking place across the country. Our research has discovered that this happened in Dallas, Texas. They did this recently in Memphis, Tennessee. This is an issue that took place recently in Atlanta, Georgia, and Detroit, Michigan, to name just a few places where these events have been taking place, and young people have been sharing on social media these deplorable acts. And so I wanted to provide some update. Some people have asked the question whether JPD responded to the circumstance. They actually did respond. The call came in as an accident. The people who called and may have been backed up in traffic did not know what was taking place in front of them because they were so far backed up. And so JPD responded. At the time that JPD responded, the actors in this circumstance sped away at a high rate of speed. As you are already aware, JPD has a no chase policy. And in fact, I believe that while this was certainly something that we cannot see in our city, and there are means in which we're going forward to address it, that was the best way to respond at that time. You already have young people who believe that they are professional drivers, right? And we already have seen the ill effects of chases that take place from outside actors into our city. And so it certainly was not a scene that JPD thought was best to have a high-speed chase take place. What has happened since then is that we have taken the materials that they have graciously provided us in order to do research and make follow-up pursuits of those individuals. There has been an arrest made thus far, and there is information that we will not discuss in great detail that JPD has that we believe that we can find many of the other bad actors. It is important that we address these circumstances and make it clear that this is not something that can take place. I have seen some messages from some young people who say, well, listen, we're just looking for an outlet. If we had a place that we could convene, then that would be beneficial. The city is not opposed to creating a place where young people can convene, but there are some competing factors. One, even when we create that place, it will not be a place where you can do drag racing and things that put people's lives in danger. That's one. Two, in the presence of COVID, we are all having to manage and adjust life and not have congregate settings at this time. And so once we're able to do so safely, we will look for a place which is appropriate and suitable for the safety, but also the social desires of our young people. And that will be done in a safe fashion in every regard. And so I do thank the Jackson Police Department for responding appropriately and not having this matter lead to a more devastating result. And at the same time, we call on some of our other institutional partners to help in this regard. The highway should be supported by the Highway Patrol, right? We need the Highway Patrol to help support in the city of Jackson, just as they do in every other city in the state of Mississippi. And there are other law enforcement agencies that can help support our needs across the city. Do you have any other questions with respect to this matter? I will leave that question to Chief Davis. I will just say that the only agency that provided any type of response on that day was the Jackson Police Department. I personally don't have enough details as to know how the deployment strategies of the Highway Patrol works to charge any nefarious action on their behalf. But I'm just sharing with you who responded and what took place when we responded. Chief, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, good afternoon. First of all, I want to apologize to the citizens for their experience into this site of drag racing. Of course, we, like the mayor mentioned, we responded to a possible vehicle accident before police, and of course the police had to take their time because the traffic was blocked. We responded to an accident, and when we got there, these individuals sped away. So the Highway Patrol did not know that this was going on. But since then, we did talk with the Colonel Ginn with the Highway Patrol, and he have assist us by having extra troopers out there on the interstate to assist us, along with Hinds County. It took up to an hour, because we had to get to the site first because traffic was backed up, and the police had to get to the site. So once the police was approaching the sites and these individuals saw the blue lights, that's when they got in their car and they sped away. We believe that it was a vehicle accident, and we was already in traffic en route to that possible accident. So when we approached it, we found out what it was. They sped away.
What's the status of the investigation? One juvenile turned himself in. Have you identified other suspects possibly by talking to him?
We are doing that right now. We're gathering all those information. And like I mentioned, we're going to bring those individuals to justice. Thank you, like I mentioned earlier, for the video. We're dissecting that video, and we will hold everybody out there that we can identify with their car or their facial, and we're going to bring them in and hold them accountable for obstructing traffic.
Have you identified any of the car tags?
Yes, we're doing that now. Yes.
We would hope that you can respect that there, first and foremost, is information that the chief has shared with me that we believe action can be taken in order to hold people accountable for this. But it wouldn't be appropriate to share all of those details now about what that information is. There's actually some very, very credible and helpful information beyond what we've talked about that we believe will help, address that circumstance.
Why do you think drag racing keeps happening in the city?
Well, I don't know to what extent drag racing keeps happening in the city. I know that this is something that, to some extent, all cities deal with, even rural cities. You have young people that don't really appreciate the danger of a vehicle. Some people, are excited about cars and the power that cars present. And so they choose to use this as an outlet of their interest. But I want them to understand that this is dangerous on many levels. It's not only dangerous to the bystanders that are in the area that you could potentially hit. It's dangerous to you as individuals. This is an experience that at a very young age, my parents didn't have to tell me, because I lost a dear friend, within a month of learning how to drive, right? And so having that experience, I understood the importance and the danger of a vehicle. And so we want them to understand that. We've all done some immature things. I doubt that very, very many of us have ever blocked traffic on a highway, right? We've all done some immature things as young people. But we need our young people to emulate more positive examples of how to show their interest. And we can explore new ways of how we, how we're able to help them grow their interest in many ways. But that has to be conducted in a safe way. And so, as Chief has already indicated, at the time that this took place, nobody knew that it was, donuts taking place. They knew that traffic was backed up. They knew that there had been a call for service based on an accident, and they were trying to get to that call as quickly as they could. And once they were able to get close enough to the action, that's when it was revealed what took place. But we also want our children, our young people, let me not say children, our young people to emulate more positive examples. It is clear that a lot of what our young people find themselves engaged in are things that they witness on social media, things that they see happening across the country. This is not the most, fond and glaring example of what we should emulate out of Dallas and Memphis. There are other things that I'm sure are happening in those cities with young people that we would rather them engage in. This is also another challenge with what we're dealing with, at the hands of a very unique time being in a pandemic. It is always a lot easier telling a young person what to do than simply telling them what not to do. Within the last year, we have been doing a lot of telling young people what not to do because of the circumstance. And so we stand on the side of creating more opportunities for young people across the city, but that has to be done weighing all of the competing factors, not only in the present time, but going forward. Yeah. Okay. The question was, what is the city doing in order to address circumstances such as the drag racing going forward? And I'll let Chief expound on this, but there are a couple of things that are taking place. One, we're going to make certain that there is a level of accountability for what has already taken place, and making it clear that this is not acceptable, that you can't do this. And so that is actively taking place. Also, the police department has expanded its coverage of the highway, and I don't know if the highway patrol is aiding in that in any regard, but Chief, if you could expand on that. Expound.
Okay, thank you. Well, thank you for that question. First of all, we are increasing our force. As of December 4th, we graduated a police class. Just yesterday, we started another police class. And right now, we have about 30 applicants that apply for police. We are processing to start another police class within 10 weeks from now. First of all, we are increasing our force. Second, we got a highway interdiction team that we developed. So I ask the citizens of Jackson, slow down in the city of Jackson, all over Jackson. We will enforce all traffic laws. Those are some of the measures that we put in place to address some of the calls and some of the concerns of our citizens. Yes. Well, it's dangerous. You have jeopardized the lives of many people. It could have been a lot worse than what it was. So it's just unacceptable. We will not tolerate it. So that's why we have increased patrol. It's just dangerous for society to even think that you could shut down a major interstate. Well, they can be charged with reckless driving, obstructing traffic, disorderly conduct, reckless driving. Those are just some of the charges they will be charged with. Well, of course, when our efforts are putting more cameras across the city, we're looking to and I ask the citizens if they know of any video that is out there, they can contact us at 960-1234 and contact the Real-Time Crime Center so that we can analyze this video, and then we can identify the violators and we can bring those violators into justice. And so I received a lot of emails, a lot of information from the citizens, and I thank you for sending those videos in. And we have identified a lot of information that we can use to make arrests in this case. Yes, we have helped many. I'm not going to go into those cases, but the Real-Time Crime Center have assisted us with investigative tools to solve many crimes that we have. One of them is a shooting. Yeah, the press conference, when I asked that individual to turn themselves in, he came down there with his mother and another family member.
What charges is that individual?
The same charges I just mentioned, obstructing traffic, disorderly conduct, reckless driving, and careless driving. All those. Well, what we're doing, we're saturating the highway. You'll see police officers on northbound, eastbound, southbound, westbound lane throughout the highway, 24 hours a day. You'll see increased patrol on the interstate. Yeah, JPD for sure, but Highway Patrol will be anticipating, and Hinds County Sheriff Department will be participating. Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank y'all. Thank you, and we look forward to our next press conference. See you then. Thank you.